Hey, welcome back everybody. It's Daniel. Thanks for joining me. Okay, I actually lied. So I figured I kind of remembered something else I want to do, which I think would be kind of cool. So recycle review will be in the next video. So here is our app. So yeah, we kind of have a list of products. So you just go back and watch the last couple of videos. We have a list of products here, and we just kind of display them on a list there. You'll notice there are a lot of products here. It's only displaying some. It's only displaying if its owner is whatever this is. If the owner is Daniel. So we're actually going to add some buttons at the top to kind of filter out like, hey, we want just ones by Daniel or just expensive ones or whatever. And yeah, we'll switch this to recycle review later, but this will work for now. So let's go to content main. We can open it up in the resources layouts. And I think in the latest version of MainActivity Studio, you get fragments. You might not see this. I'll go back and fix the video sometime if I have time. Maybe make a new series in a few months. I don't know. So let's open up content main. And you can kind of see we have our products text view and we have our price. So that's that there. What I want to do is I want to drag in a button. We'll put the button, we'll just put it right there for now. And then constraint layout, so click drag. We've done a lot of that. Maybe get some space. Maybe 16 is good, that's kind of typical. Let's give this button some text. Let's call this, Daniel, because why not? So it's Daniel, and we'll give this filter, call this, button. I'm going to name this just for clarity. I'm going to start with button. So I'll do button filter by name. And we can name it whatever you want. Let's also do one more. Let's drag in one more button. Let's just click drag. At the make sure I want to constrain it to the other button. So I'll do that. And again, give it some space. Yeah, that looks good. Let's name this one, under $200. So there we go. So we can either press that button to go to under $200 or that one to display just Daniel, products by Daniel. Give this an ID. I think we'll call this button filter by, we'll just call this button filter, and we can name it different things later, but that'll work for now. So now if we go to main activity, we'll have access to these two buttons. So I kind of want to, there's kind of a lot going on in this main activity. We kind of cleaned it up by putting stuff in we call this just the products data source. We'll maybe use a Vim database. We've got some config variables, we have our products. So we have another number of classes. But this is going to be a little bit difficult to work with. Well, here, I'll show you what I mean just a second. So actually what I want to do is I want to select all of that. And yeah, just go to MainActivity. Let's just select all this. Let's put all this in a function. So I could go down here to a new function, call it something, and I could put all of that code into there and run it. There's actually a little shortcut to help you do that. So if you I'll Command Z that a couple more times. So if I were to select all of that and right click, I should be able to go to, I usually use the keyboard shortcut, but we should be able to extract a method function. And this will basically take all of that highlighted code in blue and move it into its own function. So we'll call this, or function or method, basically the same thing. In Kotlin, they're kind of called functions. But here, let's just name it. All we need to do is give it a name. So we'll give it a name. We'll call it show products. Or that's probably a good name. Let's go ahead and hit OK. And instantly you'll see it created that function for us with a name, and it put all of the code inside of there. And just to prove it to you, if I were to save this and run it, it should be exactly the same, actually with our two buttons there, because we added the two buttons there. But if I were to run it, it should show the 4 products there with the MacBook Pro on the bottom. Is it running? Yep, it's running. And we should have 4 products. Yeah, there we go. So our buttons are kind of covering up that text there. Another number of ways we can do that. We could, yeah, let's just, what should we do? We'll just click there. I think we can do it that way. No, if we can, yeah. So I don't usually use this editor, I gotta admit, but it looks like you can just, I always use the mode. But what we can do, I think we can click and drag the top one there and put it below there. So now the top of our products text view will be below the button. This will work for now. That should just get the text underneath there. And it does. So I mean, we're not focused on design right now, so that works just fine. We have our buttons, they don't do anything yet. Let's do this. Let's go here. And I'm trying to think how we want to do this. Yeah, the way we have it set up, I mean, yeah, so I'm trying to think of the best way to do that, to do what we want to do. Ideally, we have ideally this show method would just kind of like take in some products and just display them. We could filter, we could create, there are a number of ways we could do this. Let's just focus on the basics right now. So instead of, let's just work on our click listener. So let's do under $200. We'll start with under $200. Let's do this. So we have our under $200, that's the button, filter, and expensive. So let's just, I'm gonna comment that out for now. And we'll just put our on click listeners up here. We'll do filter, we should have those. And expensive, and then we want to do every time somebody clicks on that button. So when you click on that button, we want to do a setOnClickListener, and we want to do all this stuff inside of there. So inside of there, that's where we'll actually put our show product. And then I'm gonna copy that. I'm gonna put that inside of there so we have access to it. Then I'm gonna do products inside of there, and I'm gonna get rid of that. And this should pretty much be the same, but you'll notice when I run it I'll show you what's going to happen. So it's all blank and nothing's there. So that's because all of our methods are never called by default. So if I never say, hey, call show products, it's never going to do anything inside of there. It's never going to do all of that. To call it, you have to actually do something like that. So, and this line's always only going to happen if you click on the button. So when I click on this button, we should see it, and yeah, we do. So that's kind of it. It's not exactly, it adds to the list, so that's another bug we'll fix later. But every time we click this, because this thing just appends to it. We could let's do that. So I'll go ahead and run it. This is a good little, it's a good little experiment. So every time you click on it, it'll show products. And if you go inside of show products, you'll notice it just appends to it. So I'll hit it once. We add all of those. We hit it again, and then it just appends to the list again. So now we have, instead of 4 products, we have 8 products. So what we can do is every time we show products, we can kind of like a reset. So we could do the products text view there. So we'll do products text view dot text equals, and we'll just set it to empty. We'll set it to something empty. Let's run this and let's make sure, and this is not ideal, but I'm just to show you some concepts for doing this. We'll switch it out to a recycler view later, but trust me, we'll use all of, 90% of the stuff, 95% of the stuff we're doing we'll use with the recycler view, so it's just a little bit different we're gonna do it. We're not actually gonna be doing that line exactly, but other than that, everything else is good, basically. So now every time I click that, it just doesn't append, it just makes the list, makes the text view empties really quick, then it adds it there, but it happens so fast you can't even see it, so it looks instant. So there we go. Let's see. Okay, so now let's do something else. Let's go ahead and just create a new method. So this would probably be a better one to be called. I'm trying to think of what to do here. Let's refactor a little bit. Refactor is kind of fun. So let's do this. Let's do fun. Let's do show. We'll do show and we'll do show. And then this will be fun show Daniel, because that's what we're calling it for now. There we go. So we have our 2 methods. So these will be the 2 methods that we'll actually call. And it's kind of nice. One thing we can do, we can kind of chain methods. So say instead of show products, for example, that method could call show expensive, and then show expensive can call show Daniel, and then show Daniel can call show products. So whenever you call that, it just kind of loops to this, so then this, so then this. So eventually it gets called. So we can, we could do tons of loops. We could do, 100 methods. They just call one after the other. Generally, like, not a best practice. I mean, you can do that if you need to, but we don't need to do that in this case. But I just wanted to point that out. You can call different methods. You can kind of chain methods. Okay, so let's try to do this. So to make the button as easy as possible, I'm just going to comment out those 2 lines really quick. So we have our button inexpensive, but we also need another button. It's button filter by name. And that button comes from the ID for that right there. Again, open and close that. We have different modes there. So filter by name dot set on click listener. There we go. So we have our click listener for the inexpensive and one for the name. So I'm going to go ahead and no, we're not going to do that. Here, I'm just going to copy, just for now, I'm going to copy some of that. I'll put it down there. Let's comment it out so it's not going to do anything. Let's do this. Let's get rid of that really quick. So the 2 methods we're going to call is just show inexpensive and show annual. And this is kind of a clean way to say, well, it'll be apparent clean later. Okay, so when we click on the button, let's call show inexpensive. And when we click on the filter by name, let's do show Daniel. Okay. So now this is not going to do anything yet because, yeah, we'll click on that button and it'll do show inexpensive, but it'll trigger this, but there's nothing inside of there, so it won't do anything. And just to prove it to you, I'll run it, and when we hit the button, it won't do anything, so nothing happens. Okay. So I'm thinking we want to refactor a little bit. Let's just start with the show inexpensive. And let's just get our products. I'm just going to go ahead and get our products. And yeah, I'm thinking we should just do a filter. So instead of all that stuff, yeah, that's better. And if statement is fine. That worked for the other case. But let's just try this. We should be able to do, so we have our products there. On a list, if you put our mouse, hold down the command key, hold down the command key and put your mouse over the method name, you can see what it gives us. It gives us a list of products. So if you have a list of something, you should be able to filter it. So we'll do filter, so inside of there, it's kind of like a little filter. It's kind of like our if statement, I think. So we can kind of do something special we have there is, you'll notice we put a line there, we have a product, so that's what the it is, the IT or what it's product. So do it dot, then we have access to owner, cost, so we'll do cost is less than 200. So what this will do is this basically does that if statement for us. It's another way of doing it. So that can be used, yeah, I mean if you're doing stuff on a list, a filter is actually really great. It's nice and clean. All we have to do is, we have all the products there, then we're like, hey, we want to filter them down, just the ones under 200. So that gives us under 200. And so now with that, we're going to call, let's see, I'm trying to make this as not confusing as possible. I'm going to get rid of that. And feel free to watch this again if you need to. It's just a video. You can always go back and watch. So we have really quick, we have our products there. This will be all products under $200. So we can do something with that. Let's call show products, and then we'll just pass in our products. And this should work. I'm going to go ahead and run this. And let's just see something. So like under $200, and we only have one product. And if we go to our data, we can see we have, is that the only product under, that's 260, 12, 40. Yeah, I guess it is. Let's increase that. Let's make our inexpensive items. You know what? We'll make this, we'll give us another inexpensive. We'll make this $90. No, I won't do that one actually. I will do this. I'll do that one. I'll make our Mac $156.99, a real good deal. So I'm gonna go ahead and run that, and let's just see what we got there. So we should see 2 products, and I click that and I only see 1. And the reason is, if you go back to our main activity, we're filtering out all of our products under 200, and we have our products. We're passing it to our show products. So now show products has this variable products, and that's what we're using here. But you'll notice we are doing some more filtering there. We don't need to do that because it's filtering it one time to get the cost under $200. Then it's basically essentially filtering it again if the owner is Daniel. So this is really only products that are both under $200 and Daniel. So we kind of want to get rid of that. So I'm going to comment that out and comment that out. So just the if statement. If you just commenting it out, this makes it do nothing. Run that, and this should give us 2 products. Well, let's just see, under 200, yeah. Kotlin, is that $0? Oh yeah, so we do have that. So we have 3 products. So we do have multiple products under $200 or whatever. Cool. So that's working. Daniel doesn't work. Yeah, I want to get rid of this. No, let's make, so we have that show inexpensive work. Let's do the same thing for Daniel, for show Daniel. I'm just going to copy that, put it inside of there. And again, whenever we hit that button, we have the onClickListener set up. It just does everything inside of there, which says show Daniel, command click on there. It does all of that. Command click, it does all of that. So we want to change the filter on Daniel. So we want to do if, then what was it, .owner can we do, yeah, we can. So what we actually want to do, we just want to like copy that and just put that inside of there. And that should work. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of that line. We don't need it. Get rid of that line. We don't need it. And I'm going to reformat the code by going to, I use the keyboard shortcut. It's reformat code, or just type that keyboard shortcut right there. And that'll reformat the code. Just kind of make it nice and neat. If the line's too long, like if that line is kind of long, it goes past that line. See that line where my mouse is? That line's kind of long. It's kind of like it's almost kind of like a dividing. So when I do the keyboard shortcut, it kind of tries to get it, not much past that line, basically. Kind of a best practice. Doesn't really matter. But yeah, it's definitely a best practice. You don't want like super long lines. Like all the way type in, where you have to scroll to your right to see stuff. You have to scroll over there. You don't want that. But it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter at all. Save. And let me think about this. I should think this might work. So I'm just going to run it. This is actually kind of cool. I kind of like this video, actually. I just had this idea last night. Hey, we should do this. So is it running? Did it run? Gonna save it. Maybe something went wrong. Okay, there we go. Maybe I didn't hit run. Or you just hit the run button or keyboard shortcut. Let's do under 200. Daniel, under 200. So here are our filters. So now we can just kind of filter products. So every time we click a button, so first we added our buttons there, just dragged them in, gave them an ID, so that one's button filter by name. Then we have our button filter by name, for example, have that set on click listener, and inside of there it's going to do all of that, which basically just says, hey, do whatever's in show Daniel. So command click on there, and it's going to do all of show Daniel. And this calls another one, show product, so we do that, then it does all of that. So it essentially does that and all of that, but it does it like one at a time, really quickly. That really quickly, that really quickly, and then that, and then whoops, and then that really quickly. Okay. Yeah, kind of cool. And our total is actually updating too. Really sweet. We could do animations. That'd be cool. I don't know, kind of like this. You can add another filter for somebody else. I'm trying to think. Do we want to do filter? We could do, this video is only like 19 minutes. We could do one more thing. I'm trying to determine if we should do it where you can type in your name. Like say I want to type in John and then hit a search button. Wonder if we should do a search. Oh, it's owner. Wonder if we could do a search where we can just search for somebody. Next video probably. Okay, one more thing. So again, remember how we talked about I think we talked about public and private methods. In this case, they can be private. So click on there, you'll see, or just if you put your mouse over there, it can be private. So you click on there, do Alt Enter, and it'll make it private. It'll just add that word in front of it. It'll add the private word. Same thing with this method. We can just make it private because show Daniel is only being called in one place, and it's in this file. It's not like in another file. If it were inside of here, we couldn't do that. But because it's all in MainActivity, because show Daniel is in MainActivity, we can call it there. So private's generally a best practice. So put private if you can. And I think everything here is private. Let's see what's site complaining about. Yeah, string resource. We could do that. That's where we go into. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to stop talking. But yeah, these filters things kind of cool. You can filter by anything. You can do filter by you have access to, year purchased equals 2000. You can do all kinds of stuff with the filter. And it just goes through everything in that list and kind of filters it down as the name suggests. Run it one more time, and this video will end in like 10 seconds. Dun, dun, dun. Nothing there. Show Daniel. Yeah. So actually say something. So when we first run it, it shows no products. We could load some products by default. So instead of having to click on show inexpensive, maybe we also want to show inexpensive on load up. So just inside of the oncreate, we can just call it right here. We'll just do show inexpensive. So whenever this, whenever you open up the app, it just does all of that. But then it just kind of waits to do all that stuff because it's only going to happen when something clicks on there. So this will show inexpensive by default. So run it, and we should see something when you first open it up. So it's kind of nice to see something right when you open it up. There's that. That's the same thing as that, but we can always switch back and forth. So say the default is under 200, but you also want to kind of give the user the options to kind of filter different products. So there we go. Okay. Now this is at 22 minutes, so I'll probably stop this. Maybe later today I'll add the search one where we can type out your name or type out to product, and we can search for a product, or maybe I'll finally get to that recycler review. Okay, I gotta stop it. See you next time.